Hello, Zelda fans. We're back for more Week 4 action in the Zelda 2023 Random Percent Tournament. My name is Magic Friends, and I am joined here by Smilefires. How are you doing today, friend?
Pretty good. I thought it was interesting that we finally got the crew of two plural noun people commentating together.
Yeah. So this matchup is actually a little bit unique. Truant is 1-2. Almighty is 0-3. They were supposed to play last week, but they weren't able to actually set up a time due to the real world. So the Wheel of Destiny has decided they must fight. So let's see who can come out the winner in the matchup.
Yep, and they were down with it, so they're finally having this race, and we get to bring it to you. So starting nearby the forest with a blue candle is always handy.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple of random Triforces here. We're looking at the 7 or 8 Triforce and the 4 or 5 Triforce.
Yep, we'll figure that out as we go as we determine our dungeon quest. We've got a pretty quick level 5 here.
Yeah, the starting spot doesn't really give us a good hint of what we're at.
Well, if we can get over into the dash column, it's not second quest.
That's true. So we're at least, if that means we're either in first quest or shapes, but that does mean that that is level 4 for a Triforce.
Yep, so gonna have to finish off that 5 at some point.
And on tracking, we have Pedantic Potato helping us out in the background. So he's already on top of that, got our Triforce for level 4 already marked.
And yes, I believe you're correct, because we do have that starting blue candle. The wood sword could be under a bush. And we've got a vanilla medium secret of 30 rupees. Fairly likely based on that to see vanilla secrets and shop prices. There's a large of 100.
And we do see that level 2 has a cave at, has a dungeon at the level 2, so that does mean that we are going to have a first quest overworld for burn bushes.
Take Any's do not have extra candles, but that's no problem this time. As Truant picks up a heart. On the coast, we've got a heart.
First indication that we might have some vanilla stuff going on, but that's the most common item in the game, so it's not really a true tell yet.
And Truant's gonna find the Take Any that Bobino was just in and get up to 5 hearts.
And there's a good shot now if we find the white sword item that we can pick that up, as Trump makes their way up into the mountain area to check for his more power bracelet spots. And those were vanilla shop costs as well, with the 90, 110. So they're looking pretty vanilla on the overworld here.
Yeah, and the small secrets. So thinking shop price is not shuffled. Truant's got the screen scroll over to First Quest 5.
I'm also thinking that our overworld enemies are not shuffled either, as like the Tektites up in the mountain area, we've got the one lever on level 5 screen. Like a lot of these enemy sets are exactly what you would find in a vanilla speedrun.
Right, and it seems like many of our old men are saying the same thing. So we may want to pick up a book at some point to figure out what they're telling us. Oh, there's an arrow shop. That would be maybe good to know for later.
Yeah, I like in these flag sets actually picking up that arrow early because there's a decent chance that you end up with the bow in 1, but the silver's in 9. However, we did find something else interesting in the shops as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a boomstick seed. So if they buy that book in the shop for 200 rupees and they get the wand, they will be able to shoot bombs out of the end of the wand.
This definitely is a shapes level 1 because there's only one tile on the second row, and that had a right hand doorway. So we're looking at shapes.
Ooh, oh
yeah, ugly shapes too.
That almost kind of looks like a bow you might see in certain fantasy works.
That is a Patra guarding what is very likely their item.
Only one key, maybe don't want to spend it on that key door just yet. Because level 1 could cost you a lot of keys you might not necessarily get back.
Trot making the wise play to get over to this vanilla woodsword cave. It had a 50% chance of being the woodsword, and today it was.
Alright, combat upgraded. And they've both also got some bombs at this point to start bombing out some caves. Bobino not far behind in getting that wood sword.
Yeah, the runners are starting, after a little bit of divergence early, they're pretty much on top of each other for their pathing. We don't have beam swords turned on today, though, so that is going to make combat a little bit more tricky, and some of those dungeon items a little bit more useful than they normally are.
Yeah, any kind of combat upgrade would help here. They're both completely white sword eligible if we find that. We've already found 3 of the Take Any hearts. Oh yeah, those are some vanilla hint prices. So never mind on the hints, even if we do get the book.
Looks like Truant is still trying to farm the blue gorillas, or no, the blue moblins for bombs.
Got level 6 on the way to this Armos spot.
Nothing at Death Armos, though, but getting that out of the way is nice and helpful for the runners. This is not a screen that Bobino is going to be happy to fight on, though.
Free key on the floor on level 6. Ooh, are we fighting the Patra?
Yeah, Bobino's going for this. This could be the first big divergence. If he's able to take this down and it turns out to be one of his items, that could be a big jump in his time.
It is Expando Patra, but ooh, now coming over this way. Had been doing well staying over to the right side of the room and giving Bobino a lot of space to work with. Ooh, this might be trouble. Don't stay too far. Ah!
Yeah, the one drawback with the fighting the Patra from that doorway is if you kill the wrong node, he can just continuously keep expanding forever and ever. So I understand Bobino's trying to get to the right-hand side where it's less likely that you knock out that node, but there's no room over there.
Yeah, reverse C, you got a little less space to work with on that side. Oh hey, a blue ring shop. Well, with first quest money, you can think about potential purchase like a blue ring. There's magical sword as well.
Unfortunately for Bobino, 6 hearts is not quite enough to get us there.
Yeah, just a few too low.
So right now our runner's just kind of traversing the overworld, trying to find some spots to dig at that are a little bit less combat heavy.
Also got a level 4 sighting, so I think that's 4 levels sighted already.
Yeah, we've seen 1, 4, 5, and 6, but we also haven't seen any of the back-end dungeons. We've not seen 7 or 8 yet.
Got a pretty immediate staircase in here to the ladder.
Well, that would be a vanilla level 4 ladder. So pushing a little bit closer towards that vanilla layout, and Truant's out of there.
Yeah, and in vanilla items, that would only be a heart in there otherwise. He doesn't really need that, so he could just be done in 4.
He could also be on a blue ring very shortly here.
Yeah, just picked up his second large secret.
Alright, so Bobino found level 7, and after an initial scare, this key door going to the north means that this is definitely not a vanilla second quest 7.
And this is not a second quest 8 either.
It still could be a first quest 8, though, if maybe Truant wants to. Well, they could have gone to the left and then back to the right one screen to get that pirouette, but chose not to, just decided to keep going. Level 8, if we do have vanilla items, it doesn't have anything we need. We have that Triforce, and it would contain the big shield, because the book is in the shops, and the any key. Neither of those are mandatory.
Yeah, any key could be some value, but you have to go through 8 for it. By the way, the Anyrods shuffled. Just found them. They don't seem all that useful, though. 2 of those landed right around this lake. There is one that takes you more over toward the grave area in West Death Mountain. And what do you know? The Armos have the power bracelet.
That's one more step towards our vanilla, and that's another step towards vanilla as Bobino finds the wood sword near that Armos spot.
Yeah, White Sword, nice combat upgrade. Could head right back to that Patra, honestly.
Yeah, I could definitely see maybe getting a refill on our hearts and then starting to dive some of these earlier dungeons that could have items we need.
You know, when you get the sense of vanilla items, like, you gotta be in 1 because the bow's there. Kinda need the bow to beat the game.
Well, Truant just found a Triforce room in level 2, but it did not have a Triforce in it, so we may actually have to dig out for these Triforces.
Very interesting. Kind of a mean room that Truant's in. You gotta wait for the grabby hands to even come out of the wall while you're dodging quad shooters.
Yeah, I hate quad shooter rooms. That's the next flag I'm gonna suggest to Fred. Being able to use some weapon to disable them for like 20 or 30 seconds or something.
You switched to a bomb for a second there just to try to speed it along a little bit. Babino is back to the Patra. White Sword putting in some work this time.
Oh, the center Patra went down to 1 hit. We have 1-hit bosses.
And yep, that's the bow right there in level 1. Now the Triforce could be a good deal deeper because there is still a fair amount of this level to see. But assuming Babino doesn't get key blocked, definitely got enough combat to finish it.
Yeah, but the multiple quad shooters, both players dealing with the quad shooters right now.
Triforce in level 2 acquired for TruantGamer.
That gives him a 1 Triforce lead over Babino, and he's right in the area where he's going to find that Power Bracelet, the Any Roads, and the White Sword.
Yep, there's Any Roads right there. I would imagine he just checks them out and then goes right back up where he was going.
Even though only 3 of these are effective, this is actually pretty decent Any Roads. The one way up in the top right corner, one in the middle of the map, and one up in Death Mountain. They can be useful.
And Babino ran out of keys, but remembered, oh no, he's gonna do some other stuff, it seems like, for now. Power bracelet acquired for a TruantGamer. And if you can get in this door, there's a White Sword.
So in terms of combat, we're almost equal now. Truant will end up back in that 1 and dealing with the Patra soon enough.
Babino's gonna peek into this level 5 where we've got second quest enemies. We've got blue and red bubbles.
So level 5 normally has the recorder in these flags, so the level 5, the recorder could help us find our outstanding dungeons. That is all of the take any's for TruantGamer. So they're up to 7 hearts now. Just a couple more in the dungeons, and they can start thinking about mag checks.
Seems like there's not too much going on up in the northeast corner here. Got a second bookshop.
Oh, Truant's thinking about it. Go get in the book!
Could be a pretty decent value, because we know we got shapes front half. If it is maps, could show us the shapes, and they don't need to waste a bunch of bombs figuring out where the rooms actually are.
Yeah, and we know this is also a first quest overworld, so there's still more money out to be picked up. So it's not a big hindrance of dropping the cash you've got now and making sure you get some good use out of it. The worst thing is getting up to like 200, then you hit 3 or 4 door repairs in a row and you can't buy anything anymore.
You get to that point in the dungeons too, and you're like, oh shucks, I needed arrows this whole time. I hit a bow block. Gonna go pick up the Coast Heart. So now we're extra healthy.
That's probably the biggest advantage Truant has right now, is just the ability to refill back up to a larger number of hearts. So that'll give him just a little bit more time in some of these more treacherous dungeons. Bobino making the long trek up the mountain to check level 5.
Very important 8 heart max check.
Well, we've had a 6 and an 8, so that's just going to mean 10 is good enough, right?
Oh, I think it's going to be full 14, but they check it every 2 anyway.
Oh, that would be perfect. Unfortunately, that book did not give us the maps here, because we're just looking at... We still don't know the map for level 1 on Truant's side.
Yeah, well, he's going to get it if he goes right here. But yeah, unfortunate, book is kind of junk until we find that wand. Oh, and that Triforce is just past the key door that Bobino couldn't get through without a key. Guarded by Patra, though.
Yeah, but Truant's trying to avoid the Patra that's down. Okay, we have extra bosses on, because that's Patra number 3 and just level 1.
That's a lot of Patras. And hi, Moldorms.
Yeah, Truant's going to end up digging this entire level 1, trying not to fight the Patra in the reverse sea.
Well, he does get the heart on the floor, so he's definitely leading in Chestrick prize standings. Bobino definitely wants the book, but is a little bit short of it.
He was just doing a discount double check. Yeah, Truant's finding the bad news that he's gonna have to go back to that Patra.
Well, game finally said he had to fight one, so I might as well make it this one.
Good news, it's right near start, so we can hit the reset button a couple times while we try. Bad news, that is not a very fun spot to fight him in, and especially if he starts by going to the left, it's not what we want.
Gonna do something else for now. He has one room left.
I think this is go get the Triforce to get to full health so you can go make that fight a little bit easier.
That would also work. Triforce and level 1 acquired. We do need it anyway.
So that puts Truant up to a 2 Triforce lead.
Alright, round 3. With my not perma beams, just regular beams. At least the one thing about extra bosses with 0 HP is that for some of them the 0 HP will be more meaningful. Alright, Babino came back with enough money and has the book now. Another arrow shop under the power bracelet.
Yeah, that would be the next thing I would expect the runners to buy here. It's unlikely that they're going to get another 250 for the blue ring, but the arrows are, especially on... Oh, well, both runners have the bow now, so, like, that's something that, especially after seeing the extra bosses, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and you're gonna have silver arrows in 9.
So we got Bobino in 6, but Bobino doesn't have the ladder, so they can't actually get across this moat room. Oh, Truant, actually, that's what Truant did. They went and bought arrows and then saved at the fairy potion, the fairy shop. So Truant was just shooting arrows at the Zols, which unfortunately rolled up on hit points, so we can't kill them with a 2 damage item. But what you can always kill with an arrow is a pulse voice, so that's helpful.
Somebody replaced my Triforce with a nickel.
I blame Indy. They weigh about the same.
Oh, and that was the Triforce room in 5.
It looks like Truant decided to pick that up. I would be surprised if he goes back in.
Only got 1 key, and C didn't tell him he needed a recorder yet.
Muck Police, this race is actually a 0-3 versus a 1-2.
Yeah, this is our first week in Swiss of pair-up, pair-down games. Hi, Goma. Hi, second Goma.
The lot of Gomas in this level 7. We do need the Triforce out of here. Plus, if a Goma ends up blocking our Triforce, then that could be a big deal.
Ooh, we are full shapes.
That is an ugly shape. That is like a...
Kind of looks like a cannon on wheels, maybe. It's a little droopy, though. Oh, there's a meat block.
Oh, that's a true meat block. We can't get to the top half of this level 7 without a staircase.
Well, or meat.
Well, yes, or meat. True.
Is that really 35 rooms? I think it's 32. There's still a lot of rooms. Oh, but the Triforce is just down in the corner.
Yeah, the only other thing that's going to be in here is the red candle, which we don't need that. Okay, Bobino's finding their ladder. Let's see, are they done with this level 4? They can leave.
Yeah, ladder's instant. If you got the Triforce marked down, you know you don't need to do anything else in here.
And hopefully he checks his HUD when he comes out of here, after taking that depth to the Patra.
Sticking it out for the heart or the life refill, maybe.
I'm wondering if he just doesn't have that. This is that he has this Triforce yet. He might not have checked.
He's definitely had his pause screen up.
Yeah, I don't blame him though. Like, I do this all the time where I'm like, I start digging a dungeon because I'm like, I'm in a dungeon, I should clear it, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we've seen a few cases that I can vouch for. Remembering things is pretty hard in randomizers. Even when you do have a tracker. Kind of requires the input things on it correctly and then you actually look at it.
Alright, Bobino's out of the level 4, and they did look at their HUD when they left, so hopefully they realize that they don't need that, they can just bail. So right now I think we're looking for 3 is the only dungeon we haven't seen yet, correct?
I don't recall where 9 is.
Oh, that's an important dungeon. Yeah, I have not seen that one either.
Bobino is gonna pick up arrows at this point. Oh, there's 3.
Yeah, it's 3's up here on Death Mountain. That's actually... We have a lot of the overworld we haven't checked and have pretty much all the dungeons found except for 9.
Ooh, that looks like a pretty required Goma. Unless there's, like, a way around and duels that key door.
Fortunately, both of our runners did pick up the arrows, and Babino stopped going into this 8 and thought for a minute, and now is gonna dig around in here. I like this play.
It's a quick heart on the floor, that'll help.
Yeah, we saw in one of our races last week where oh yeah, you can just walk into this Triforce room using, you don't even need a key, you can use the pirouette trick.
Oh, okay, that works out then.
Babino, we saw, I think on Tuesday, we saw a race decided by the fact that one person had dug out the any key out of an 8 that wasn't required, so.
It could be a nice value item if you know it's there. You just take a quick look, and if you don't see it quickly, then you get out of there.
Yeah, unfortunately, our dungeon combat is really nasty today.
This is Babino's first sight of 2.
And this is Truant going into 6. This is actually the last Triforce Truant needs before he can go to 9, even though he doesn't know where 9 is. Neither runner has seen 9, Mad Matt.
Seem to be getting vanilla dungeon hint text from the old men that we're running into with our books.
Yeah, if the overworld hints are vanilla, then so will the dungeon hints as well. So we'll see a hint that says, like, you know, Patra guards the compass, even if he doesn't.
I guess in a way that makes vanilla text deceptive.
Yeah, if you don't know the vanilla text, it can be very confusing. But usually if you see, like, 10th enemy has the bomb, or you see, like, secret lies in the arrow, then you can pretty much knock all the rest of them out.
Got a call in chat that level 6 looks like a phonograph, and yeah, I could see that.
Good call, yeah. Ooh, looks like their only way to get forward in this 2 is to go through that Goma door. But I don't remember Truant needing to kill a Goma to get through there.
Alright, there's the one in 6.
Alright, fortunately, we've upgraded the wand, so now we don't have to worry about the flashing anymore. It just makes a poof.
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, the Triforce path involves clearing this Wallmaster room. Level 2, I think, is one of those, like, car dealership inflatable arm guys.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like a inflatable, wacky, flailing, wacky tube man.
Oh, well, the compass will tell Babino for sure where the Triforce is. That'll help him get on the path that Truant took.
The one time when you really wish you could pick up this clock and you just can't.
And not with Wallmasters around. Yeah, here we go. This was the path. Rupee boss defeated.
And an extra key picked up on the way. Oh, got sniped by the second quest Stalfos.
Well, it's okay. It's a short walk.
Unfortunately, that room with the Wallmasters is going to stay empty because there's bubbles in the room keeping the sprites balanced.
Just absolutely shredded the Vires with the boomstick in 6.
Yeah, this boomstick is a huge advantage for Truant. They're going to be able to navigate 9. They're going to be going into 9 with only 2 keys, but the fact that he can check every wall for bombs without spending any is going to be very helpful.
With simultaneous Triforce pickups, Babino getting the Triforce out of 2, Truant getting the last one he needed in 6. Going to 9 if he can find it.
So if I'm looking at my items here, the first place I'm looking for this 9 is probably the power bracelet spots. We know that the any roads are shuffled, so yeah, that's where I'm going.
Nope, we're still looking for level 9. There's a fair bit of Death Mountain we haven't seen.
Yeah, good bit of Death Mountain. I don't think we've seen East Death Mountain either, or if we have, it was just the one location up there. We have not seen either of the raft locations, so that's a possibility, although I wouldn't wish that on these on Truant right now.
Yeah, we basically don't have any of the overworld blocked checks just because we don't really have any of those items.
Alright, so level 3 for Babino. That's gonna put them, start catching them up on that Triforce lead that Truant has.
Could be very fast. Leaving with the key? Oh no. Just opening one for free.
Yeah, Truant thought about buying bombs there, but I think they're right. You gotta save that money in case you need a key.
He's got to get at least 4 more keys before he goes into 8 for the any key.
Alright, Babino finds the Babino found the Triforce, but is going to keep digging to find the raft, and it's actually right here.
I'm okay with that.
Well, that means that other than the recorder in 5, Babino can check all the overworld spots. So if 9 happens to be on one of those 2 raft locations, he's got an advantage here.
Triforce in 3 acquired. I just realized I said we didn't have any of the overworld block items. I guess the power bracelet is just so automatic to me at this point.
Yeah, they were able to pick that up in like 10 minutes, so we didn't even think about it. I think that's all of Death Mountain from Truant, so nope, 9 up here.
Wow. Alright, well, gotta pick something to do then. Three for the raft.
Alright, Babino should have their Triforce out of level 1 very quickly here. If they don't get hit by Patra. Don't get hit by Patra. There we go. Good job.
It's now 5 on the board. Got the bigger levels left though. And Babino will be able to make more progress in 6. Got blocked out by not having the ladder the first time.
Alright, well that's one of our secret spots. Well, it's two of our push bracelet secret spots. I think we saw the one down by the coast already as well. Yeah, we are in a first quest overworld, so there's 1 record block total and there's 2 raft blocks total. We have seen all but 1 of the push block locations. So there's 1 of those left right now as well. I think the one up in the northeast corner.
Babino's choosing level 5 next.
Oh no, Babino, you can't pick up the clock when you have the... Oh. He picked up the clock while he was red bubbled, so now he's going to use his bombs to clear this room out. Which isn't that bad. I mean, they're not hitting him as badly as they were before, but it's definitely frustrating.
It's unfortunate that the blue bubble stops working.
Okay, that was probably worth it though. Getting the map there will help him clear this out.
Level 5 reminds me of that one, like, knight's helmet with just the eye slit in it that protects your whole head.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's out of one of the knights from Monty Python.
East raft spot, not a level. Got some money.
All right, Babino was in a little scary position with their health there, but now they're back up to 6 hearts, and they just found that Triforce or that compass, so they should be able to make their way over to the Triforce pretty quickly and keep catching back up on this Triforce lead.
Yeah, it seems like the hardest walk to a Triforce was in 6 so far. Now over to Raf Spot West. Not it either.
Well, then it's either in the recorder location, or Truant hasn't checked something on the overworld that Babino also hasn't checked. I don't know which one's left.
I can't imagine they missed any candle spots. Alright, both in level 5 now.
Yeah, and Babino picked up the Triforce, so they're gonna keep looking for this recorder. This, actually, for what we know right now, this is probably very helpful for him because it will save him from having to come back here later. Yeah, that Gleok was actually easier than a Rupee boss. I believe they did check Forgotten. We definitely have seen both of the bomb spots near Forgotten.
I mean, I frankly forgot it, so I wouldn't rule it out.
I only remember that they checked it because I remember seeing one of them kind of dodging all the P-hats on that screen, because they love starting like right in front of where you want to bomb and then kind of fluttering around that spot.
Truant got the double kill, defeated Goma at the same time as Goma shot him.
Oh, and this is actually the recorder too, so he's got to make his way all the way back there.
Yeah, this time 100% Babino knows he's done in there.
And Truant is not going back to that Goma room, so he's going to end up pretty much full clearing that before he gets back there.
That's a little unfortunate, but it will buy Babino some time to go clear out these 2 other levels.
Yeah, we got a real race on our hands now. With Truant's going to be digging for this recorder while Babino needs to finish 6, and there's a way to finish 7 in like 3 rooms if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Another thing is that Babino is now up to 11 hearts, so they could make a max check if they wanted to.
I'm not... Did Babino see 7? That's what I'm questioning right now. Well, if he hadn't, he's gonna see it pretty quickly here. Okay, he has.
Oh, he did see 7 very early, but he was very key starved early on in the seed, so.
Yeah, okay, at the point that Truant found it, I was thinking like, wow, they hadn't bombed that spot until this point. But they had other things to do. And Babino is actually turning around. And could go bump into the Triforce room here. Yeah, scrolling over to bombs. Gonna be out of 7 super quick. That's awesome.
Alright, Babino just needs to go into 6. The big question is going to be, does he spend the time to go into and get that wand while he's in here too? Now, if I remember correctly, the wand in this 6 is going to be in the very rightmost spot on the lower portion. But I don't remember where the Triforce was in here.
I recall Truant taking the transport a lot, so I believe it's on the top side. And the transport is slightly over to the right, so it's reasonable to think Babino might bump into the wand that way. Alright, round 2 versus Goma. Goma's been defeated.
Alright, there's a recorder for Truant, so let's see if their premonition was true and that's needed for level 9.
Recorder takes us places. So that's new beaten dungeons. Wait.
What? Yeah, well, I don't even know what dungeon was there. Oh, level 6, as Bobino just walked into it. Okay. Yep, you're right. New beaten dungeons.
Yeah, it gave me a second to pause because I couldn't remember where 6 was, but yeah, there we go. And after all this, Recorder Lake houses level 9.
Alright, we're looking for 3 things while we're in here. We need the Roar of Ganon to figure out where Ganon is so we can kill him. We need the staircase that leads to the silver arrows. And we need the door that opens up to the princess. Alright, Babino is digging out to the right here, which is going to lead him eventually to that boomstick, which is good.
Digdogger guarded the compass, so we already have a bead on Zelda's location. Oh, we're in a tea room.
Yeah, that's not pretty.
And with only a shutter out, that would be a little bit annoying to have to do. Let's try something else.
Oh, Babino took a death. The room to the right of where he just was is where that boomstick is.
It's been some unfortunate deaths from both players, just right close to where the items actually are.
Yeah, and this one's especially tough because he's got to dodge these red bubbles, and they're not playing very fair. And since he doesn't have the boomstick yet, like he's basically out of weaponry now. Alright, Truant's still digging this out. Hasn't taken any staircases yet of note. We haven't even seen really a staircase available.
Yeah, we saw one that he didn't want to take.
I don't know about that. You get that one, and then you get the one, and then you're kind of looking at whether or not when you finally do find a staircase, you end up just walking through the same stairs you thought that you already saw.
Oh, and yeah, this is Ganon. Sorry, Ganon. Just passing through.
Babino's back in level 4, and I can't tell why. Maybe they didn't pick up the Triforce in here earlier?
Starting Triforces do count, like they're real Triforces.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Truant finds another staircase, but again chooses not to go in it.
Well, we've got a path to the princess.
So we can get to Ganon, we can get to Zelda, we can't do anything about it. Ooh, that is a very thick level 9.
Kind of looks like the head of a bird. You go over to the left.
Yeah, it almost looks like Flappy Bird.
Block clipped into that staircase, but it's also transport. Using the last key. Ruby Boss doesn't have a key, but it has another transport.
Alright, Babino's in level 9, so... Or maybe they're not. Oh, they still don't have that level 6 Triforce yet. They were having trouble finding it.
Maybe with going back into 4, he was questioning what Triforce he needed? That was a great Kananaki by Truant, by the way.
Yeah, that's a late Kananaki, but we take him. Yeah, I have a feeling that Babino's trying to figure out which Triforce it is that he doesn't already have. Oh, Tourney got hit by that red bubble right there, so now he's got to find a blue bubble before he can even make more progress.
Yeah, which the thing is, like, that Triforce is always 6. It doesn't change based on the quest. But, you know, just gotta pull up the graphic that I always have pulled up for these things.
So Truant wants to get into this upper left-hand corner, but it looks like the only way to get in there is through a staircase. So they're going to have to go back and check some of these staircases they decide not to go down to see which one will move them to that E column.
Always a fun time in level 9 when you gotta take stairs. We are up in the top left now.
All right, is this our silvers? Red ring is going to be appreciated. Nobody's going to argue about that.
I'm not gonna pull the mock-up special and burn it.
No, we want that right away. In this, we're already down to 3 hearts, and this is a Wish Road dungeon. Oh, that's a deep death in level 9. Alright, Babino's got a little bit more time to work with.
There's a lot going on in that room.
Alright, Babino picked up his Triforce in 4, so they're gonna now know that at worst, if they really thought they were missing the level 4 Triforce, they now know that that's not the right one.
Yeah, like all you gotta do is fill up that picture. And the way to do that is to go pick up the 1 in 6. Heading towards 6, so this is good. So if the orange wizard will cooperate... after this message from Red Potion. See if we can get through this key door.
Yeah, but Bina was really just trying to make sure that they got to go in without having while still having their sword. But now, where do you go? Yeah, it looks like it, Matt. Some kind of magical staircase is going to need to either get us to that far corner, or maybe the room that Truant died in on that left-hand column. But I don't think that was it either.
Yeah, with that kind of look at his map that he's been doing, I think he thinks he's walled off from most of the top right here.
Agreed.
Like his last retry just now, he went to a staircase he hadn't taken yet and it didn't help him, so he up 8 again. Alright, Triforce in 6 for Babino. It's a short walk back to 9.
And he does have full health, so he should be able to navigate this 9. The only drawback is he's not going to have that boomstick, so Truant has opened up a lot of bomb holes in this 9, and that could be a bit of a decider.
Yeah, and there's a fair amount of red bubbles in here. Boomstick works on Wizrubs. Taking a hit from the fire. Is going to defeat this Dig Dogger, which is actually great, because Instant Compass.
Using the room reset trick to clear the Dig Dogger, grabs this compass up in the corner.
And Truant's found a way in to these rooms now. Hi Goma, open up please.
Alright, there's a good shot. This is it.
Here we go, silver arrows acquired. And we're guessing there's not a way back to Ganon from over there, so up A. We're walking again.
Yeah, he's got a pretty direct route at this point that doesn't need to take any shoots. So as long as it doesn't have any red bubbles on the way.
I think he might still have half a potion just in case anyway.
Alright, here we go with this Ganon fight. Ganon can take anywhere between 1 to 8 hits with the white sword. Could be 0 HP, but it's not, so we're going to need a stun lock here.
It's looking pretty good, there we go. Missed the first shot, but Ganon is down. Now I just need to get back to Zelda.
Alright, one more room, which should have just a bunch of red bubbles in it, and we are good to go. TruantGamer finishing up here with a racetime.gg of 1:12:41. GG's in chat for Truant.
Interesting up A, yeah, I'd say so. Zelda's room wasn't overly far away from Ganon's. We are joined in the booth by your race winner, TruantGamer. Hello?
Hello, hello.
And just to update our viewers, Babino has turned in. He has forfeit the race, but GG's to him. Very strong comeback to get back into 9 there. So good job. Good try.
I gotta say, I was feeling good about this one until I couldn't find 9.
Oh yeah, you walked all over the earth there, and then finally went and dug out the overworld blockers, and then you got to 9.
Yeah, I was gonna double back to 5 early because I realized that Recorder is in there and it could help me, but I think I only had level 3 and 7 to find left. 3, 7, and 9. Recorder wouldn't have helped me find 9, and not a whole lot left to clear, and I really wanted that letter too, and then I found 7 right away and said, well, then I'm just gonna walk and see what I can find. Maybe I'll find 9 on my way.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense, because there are a lot of spots up on Death Mountain. We are also joined in the booth by Bobino. Hello?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, and I figured early on that it was first quest only, so that also eliminated a lot of the need for the Recorder, so I just didn't prioritize it at all.
Yeah, with it only being the one spot, understandable.
Yeah.
But it had to be the one spot.
Yeah, we
Was
did
there-
end up with both of you in level 9 at the same time.
Yeah, much closer than my other race. So happy I at least made it into 9.
And both of you were. This seat was not friendly in its combat. A lot of really nasty, like quad shooter rooms.
Yeah, every time I thought I was like gaining momentum, I'd go into one of those like quad turret rooms, or suddenly there would be like 5 whiz robes in my face, and I always just was like just barely underarmed for what I was trying to fight.
I think I counted 4 rooms that were quad shooter plus bubbles plus enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the combat. I was initially looking for a blue ring early on when I was at max money, just because those early rooms were just horrible. And then when I found the book, I paused for a second, really thought about it. I'm like, yeah, but 9's probably going to be really bad. So if I know where the wand is in 6, maybe it's worth digging that out instead, since I need to go back there.
I grabbed book early because the other 2 races I had boomstick was fun and helped a lot, and then I ended up not even finding the wand. So I probably should have gone with the blue ring as well.
Well, and at that point, you both had to consider whether or not the book was maps as well, which is very helpful in Shapes Dungeons as well.
Yeah. Fun fact, it's not.
But it did let us read vanilla hints.
Yes. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. If 9 wasn't too crazy, I just got in there maybe like 3 or 4 minutes before you finished, so I still needed to find silvers and Ganon. I found the compass early, so that part would have been a little easier. But yeah, definitely thank you for making up the race that the wheel determined that we was bound and determined we have.
Yeah, no problem. And it definitely was making sure we were doing this.
Yeah, we saved you a bit of a hunt for the silvers because they seem to be behind a staircase. They're up toward the top right.
Okay. I was
It was
probably on my chain of staircases there.
It was a staircase to, I think you had to go up 2 rooms and bomb. I think you had to bomb both of them, maybe just one. And then there was a Goma blocking it.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys casting and tracking, and Truant, thanks for being so super flexible through the whole thing. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
I am going to head out. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Z1R and SpeedGaming, for hosting and running everything.
Yes, thanks for racing, Babino. Have a good night.
I will. Good night, guys. Thank you.
Gotta say, getting started in this was tough as well, with like 3 Patras in level 1.
Oh, yeah, after I skipped that initial room down below where the bow ended up being. And then what was the Patra had the Triforce. I knew I wanted to get past there and keep going. Thankfully, it just kept throwing a key in every room for every locked door that was behind it. And then I think I died once trying to fight the Patra with the bow, and just said, forget it, I'll grab the Triforce and come back and deal with it and just make it easier on myself.
Yeah, that probably made it a lot safer to take on at that point. But yeah, good showing this week. You're moving up to 2-2, I believe.
Yeah, 2-2.
So you go for that 3rd win. It's all for placement anyway. Anybody in the 2-2s you know about that you would be looking forward to facing?
I have not seen who's even in the 2-2s yet, really.
Well, maybe besides that, just anybody in the tournament you would really want to race?
Oh, always looking to get another shot at Fury whenever we get a chance to meet up.
Good call, good call.
I think we had a run of like 3 or 4 tournaments in a row that we faced off, and then it's been like 2 or 3 now that we haven't seen each other. So we always rib each other and try and get back to it whenever hope the wheel spins in our favor.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So, do you have any closing statements, Smile?
I don't think so, other than there's plenty of other Zelda 1 randomizer content on the internet to check out tonight.
Yeah, we have SpeedGaming 4 right now has Druis versus Mako. They just started about 20 minutes ago. And then there are 2 more races tomorrow night, one at 8 p.m. and one at 11:30.
And there are a couple others that also started simultaneously with this one that look like they might still be going. You could pop in and check them out as well. Still got one more week of Swiss, and then we move into brackets. You can get all the details on what's coming up in the rest of the week at the schedule in the Z1R 2023 command. Well, it's been a good game, but let's get out of here. Thanks to Magic Friends for hopping on here with me. Thanks to Pedantic Potato for doing the tracking. Thanks to Truant for the great race. Thanks to Bobino as well. And have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, friends.